Over the years, I found myself ascending through the corporate ranks. Obviously, most of you know I started off with a background in technology and then HR and then ultimately all of the corporate functions. And a few years ago, I decided to go out on my own and push myself to the limit by starting my own business. Now, because I have had the YouTube channel and I've been so open and vocal, sharing my journey about ascending into the upper echelons of corporate America and then going out on my own, I have had more people coming to me asking for guidance because they're tired of their toxic company culture, they're tired of their boss, and on, and they have this idea. They have this thing that they want to do that's going to change the world, and they want to have money rain down from the heavens. And because I have been so open and vocal, I have always shared the wins and shared the losses. Today, I want to spend some time talking about things that you have to wrap your head around before you go all in on starting a business. The very first thing that I want you to get comfortable with is hearing no. I know that you think that you have this brilliant idea and it will change people's lives. They don't care. At the end of the day, you have to get out of your own mind and get into the minds of your customers. You have to figure out how to solve the problem that they are currently facing and do it in a cost-effective manner that they are willing to actually pay for your new AI tool or your service or whatever it is that you offer. It doesn't matter how great you think the idea is. If nobody buys, then you simply don't have a business. Which leads me into the second point. You have to get really good at what you do. I know you think you are the best at what you do because you have a C-level title, because you have that VP title. When you get into the world of entrepreneurship, none of that matters. You have to start understanding things like lead generation and sales cycles and pipelines and marketing and branding and on and on. Just because you have this phenomenal product or you have an incredible ability to solve people's problems through services, if you cannot get that message out in a way that resonates with people, you're going to stall out. It is far more difficult to get customers than you think it is. And this is the thing that's so funny about entrepreneurship. You go into it knowing how difficult it is. You go into it knowing that the vast majority of businesses that start up, they fail within just a few years. And you think you're going to be different, but the reality is the numbers are the numbers for a reason. A lot of those people that started their businesses thought they were going to crush it. They were going to do good things. And then reality hit them across the face. That's part of this process. So when people come to me and are asking for feedback and guidance, the very first question I have is, are you ready? I know you think you have this idea. I know that you think you can do this thing that's going to change the world, but you have to be ready to be told no over and over and over. And you also have to wrap your head around all of your friends, all of the networks, all of the people that you know. When you actually go from just being a peer at these events and at conferences and in meetings to the service provider side, all of a sudden, they're going to shun you. They're going to clap for you. They're going to say, yes, go, follow your dreams, follow your dreams. Oh, no. I'm not going to use this. No. Well, that's expensive. Well, why would I? Oh, no, I'm good. And it changes your perspective on how the vast majority of the people in the world operate. This is something that truthfully is very unfortunate because almost everybody operates from a place of fear. They're afraid to invest in themselves. They are afraid to put in the energy and effort that it takes to step up to that next level, to solve their problem. They're risk averse. Everybody wants the view, but nobody wants the climb. What this means is you have to be so incredibly good at what you do. Your product or solution has to be so much better than everybody else before anyone will start to consider you. The next thing that I want to talk about is cost to acquire customers, or CAC. I had no clue what this was. Obviously, I never would have needed to, being in the corporate world. In order to get in front of customers, you are now going to have to invest. And what that looks like is paid ads, or building a website, or creating content, or sponsoring events. All of these things are ways for you to get in front of your customers. That's just the first step, just getting in front of them. Then you have to be able to effectively communicate so they understand what it is that you do and how you can actually solve their problems. Now, just this morning, I was having a conversation with somebody that has an AI startup. It's actually a really great idea. And I broached this topic. I started to explain to him the difference between CAC and LTV and how to understand where to allocate your money that's going to give you the biggest return. And he got into it and said, oh yeah, I'm familiar. I've got this on all my models, the CAC over LTV, whenever I have conversations with investors. But when it comes to actually spending the money, as opposed to just looking at a spreadsheet, it's a very different story. And I just nodded my head in agreement, because it's true. You don't really understand what this means or how challenging this is, because it means you have to invest in something else. You're asking people to invest in your product or service, or you, but in order to do that, you have to actually invest in something to be able to get in front of them. This is a concept that, once again, you're operating from a place of fear. Life is pay to play until you are good enough. Now, many of you know that I speak at events and conferences on a weekly basis at various cities around North America. What most people don't know is, for the first few years, I was not getting paid to speak at any of these events. And there were actually a number of events where I had to pay to sponsor the event just to get in, to get on stage. So you have to understand this, and I can't stress it enough. There is a cost to acquiring customers. You have to be willing to expend that money or spend that money to be able to get out in front of these customers. The last thing that I want to dig into, it's been really challenging for me, if I'm being transparent. The friends that you have in your life that would always be around, that would always do things with you and go above and beyond to go have dinner or go have drinks or they are not going to be a part of your life. You have to come to terms with that. You have to understand that anytime you have a service or product that you are trying to sell them, their walls are going to go up and they're going to create distance from you because they don't want to be sold to. Also, this speaks to the vast majority of the world. They're fine with mediocrity. They're not really focused on leveling up or getting better. And that's fine. That's great. If you're at a point in your life where you just want to coast, rock and roll. That's amazing. But there is another side of this. Whenever I talk about the friends that will create distance, what you will also see is that there will be a select few that do everything in their power to support you. Even if they don't have a lot of money or their business isn't overly successful, they will find a way to support you because you supported their business for so many years, maybe when you didn't have a lot of money. Those are the real ones. And when you find those people, I cannot begin to express the level of appreciation and, quite frankly, love for those people that are willing to support you. That doesn't mean you disown or talk bad about the others that don't. That's fine, but it shifts your perspective on so many things in life. What does all of this mean? you embark on this journey that is going to forge you into a version of yourself that you never thought possible. It is going to create a version of you that, quite frankly, is going to break your brain, because you never would have realized how strong you can become. Also, it very well could break you. But that's why I open with the question of, are you sure that you're ready to get into this? There are copious amounts of content and books and videos and material out there that will help you through this process. And this is actually why I create a lot of the content that I do, because I want everyone to win. I would love to support you and work together in formal capacity, but if that doesn't make sense, take the content and run with it. This is going to be a lonely journey, but it is also going to forge you into a version of yourself that you never thought possible.